I discover my in-laws had been selling my jewelry online. It was just collecting dust, my sister-in-law said. My husband told me to let it go. But one ring was from my grandmother. I didn't speak. Instead, I tracked down the buyer. What they sent back with the package made me shake. I live in Roanoke, Virginia. Been here all my life. My name is Claire. I'm 42 now. I was married to Todd for 17 years. 17 years I thought were built on love and respect. But I was wrong. I ignored signs. I told myself to be understanding. I let little things slide. Until one day. Those little things crushed everything I had. It all started about 2 years ago. My husband Todd and I had moved into his parents' rental property after the birth of our second daughter, Haley. It was meant to be temporary, a way to save money while Todd figured out his next career step. He had been laid off from his job at a logistics firm and wanted to explore something new. I supported him. I worked as a medical coder from home. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid steady. The house was fine, a little cramped, but we made it work. His sister, Julie, lived 2 streets over. She was divorced, had 2 kids, and always found ways to be at our place. She'd walk in without knocking, open cabinets, ask questions like, "Are you going to eat that?" Or "Why do you keep this old junk?" She always acted like the queen bee, even in someone else's hive. One morning, I opened my jewelry box looking for the necklace Todd gave me on our 5th anniversary. It was a delicate gold chain with a small sapphire pendant. It wasn't expensive, but it meant something to me. It wasn't there. I looked through the drawers, checked my nightstand. Nothing. Then I noticed a few more things missing. My birthstone bracelet, a silver locket from my mom, and worst of all, my grandmother's ruby ring. It was an old ring with scratches on the band, but the stone was real and the only thing I had left from Grandma Lillian. She gave it to me before she passed, said it brought her luck during hard times. I asked Todd about it. He shrugged. "Are you sure you didn't misplace it? Maybe the girls played with it," he said. "I don't let them near that box." "Maybe your mom borrowed something?" "My mom hasn't been here in months, Todd." He stared at the TV and didn't say another word. That night, I couldn't sleep. My gut felt tight, like something was off. I started going through the house, room by room. Then it hit me, Julie. She was the only one who came and went like she owned the place. And she commented before about how nobody wears brooches anymore. When I showed her some things I kept in a drawer, the next morning, while Todd was out, I drove over to Julie's house. Her oldest son let me in. I went straight to the kitchen where she sat with her feet on a chair, drinking iced coffee like she hadn't stolen from me. "Julie, did you take my jewelry?" I asked straight. She looked up, not shocked, just annoyed. "Geez, Claire, calm down. Answer me." She rolled her eyes. "It was just collecting dust." "What the hell does that mean?" "You never wore any of it. And Todd said you weren't sentimental about it." "You asked him." "I mentioned it. He said you wouldn't care. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. Got a couple hundred. Helped with my car repair. I felt dizzy. You stole from me." "Oh, come on. We're family." No, we're not," I said. I walked out shaking. I couldn't believe it. She said it like it was nothing. Like taking my things was normal. That night, I confronted Todd. She told me she sold my jewelry, the ruby ring from my grandmother. "You knew." He sighed and turned off the TV. "Julie needed help. It was just stuff. It was mine. You let her steal from me." "She didn't steal. Don't say that. You're blowing this out of proportion. It's not like we can't get you new jewelry later." I stared at him for a long time. That's when I knew I wasn't his wife anymore. I was furniture. Something to manage, not protect. I didn't speak to him for 3 days. Instead, I logged onto Facebook Marketplace. I made a burner account, started searching ruby ring, scanned listings going back months. Then I found it, a listing from 4 weeks ago. A woman in Charlottesville named Erin had commented on it. Still available? I messaged her. Hi, random question. Did you buy this ring from a seller in Roanoke about a month ago? She replied 2 hours later. Yes, I did. Why? I think it was stolen. It belonged to my grandmother. I don't want to cause trouble. I just want it back. She didn't respond right away. I thought that was it. But the next morning, she messaged again. Can you prove it's yours? I described the inside of the ring. There was an engraving. Tiny script that read Lily 1944. Aaron replied. That's exactly what it says. Send me your address. I'll mail it back. I hate thieves. 2 days later, I got a small package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a padded envelope. I opened it. The ring was there. I started crying before I even touched it. But something else was in the envelope too. A folded receipt. Erin had paid $75 for it. On the back, she wrote in pen. Seller said her sister-in-law is a hoarder. Seemed shady. Glad it's back where it belongs. I sat on the couch holding that note, shaking. My own husband and his sister had painted me as some crazy hoarder to sell off pieces of my life for scraps of money. I didn't yell. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I got quiet. I got focused. I made a plan. After I got the ring back, I stopped sharing anything with Todd. I cooked, cleaned, took care of the kids, but I didn't speak much. He thought I was sulking. He had no idea I was watching everything now. Every phone call. Every time Julie came by. Every weird charge on our bank account. I opened a new bank account under my name only. I had some money saved in a credit union from when my dad passed away. Todd never cared about it before because I told him it was small. But it wasn't. It was over $18,000. I moved it. Quietly. Then I checked our joint account. And that's when I saw it. 3 Venmo withdrawals. Small ones. $60, $75, $90. From months back. All labeled FB buyer. Marketplace. Jewelry buyer. I matched the dates with Julie's visits. She had been doing this for longer than I thought. That's when I knew it wasn't just helping with her car. She was making side cash off me. Todd helped her. Maybe even suggested it. I took screenshots of everything. I printed out bank statements, message logs, photos of my missing items. I made copies and put them in a folder labeled, "If I go missing." Yes, I was that paranoid. Then I called someone I hadn't talked to in a long time. My brother Shane. Shane lived in Asheville, worked as a mechanic, and hated Todd. Always had. He came down that weekend and stayed in a motel. I didn't tell him much over the phone, just that I needed help. We met at a diner. I brought the folder. I laid everything out. Shane went quiet. Just read. You want me to go over there and beat his ass? He asked. I smiled for the first time in weeks. No, I want something smarter. That's when he gave me the idea. You should sell something of theirs. Something they care about. See how they like it. It sounded petty, at first, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. They stole from me, right? Why not return the favor? Julie drove a beat-up white Pathfinder. Todd had helped her buy it a few years ago. He co-signed the loan, which meant his name was on it too. I dug up the papers. Sure enough, the title had both names. I waited until Julie left her car in our driveway one afternoon to help fix the Wi-Fi. She always made up reasons to come inside. I watched her go inside with Todd. They laughed about something. I took her keys from her purse while she was in the kitchen. Then I drove her car to Shane's motel. We parked it behind the building, out of sight. He had a buddy tow it the next day and listed as co-owner selling share of vehicle. Dirty trick? Sure. But legal? Technically, yes. Julie exploded the next morning. She banged on the door like a maniac, screaming, "Where's my CAR?" I stayed calm. I opened the door and said, "You mean the one you bought with Todd's name on it?" Her eyes went wide. She knew I knew. "I called the cops," she yelled. "Good. They can help you figure out how to refund buyers for stolen property." Want me to show them the listings you posted? She turned red, then pale. Todd came running from the kitchen. Claire, what did you do? I walked away. Let them yell. Later that night, Todd cornered me in the bedroom. You went too far, he said. No. You went too far when you let her take my things and lied about it. She's my sister. She needed help. I'm your wife. Or at least I was. That shut him up. He slept on the couch after that. Then came the real twist. 2 weeks later, I got a message from someone on Facebook. A woman named Casey. She said, "Hey, I bought a silver necklace from a woman in Roanoke. It broke, and when I got it fixed, the jeweler found a tiny message engraved inside. Said to Claire, 7 years, love, Mom." That's you. My heart dropped. I called her. She told me she bought it from a woman named Julie T. I didn't ask for it back. I just thanked her for telling me. But that was the moment it all changed. That necklace was the last gift my mother gave me before she passed. Julie hadn't just stolen from me. She desecrated my memories. That night, I told Shane everything. I told him I wasn't backing down. He had another idea. One that would expose everything, and no one could deny it. Let's record them. Let's get them to admit it. Make it public. He brought down an old phone he had. One with a working recorder. I set it up in the living room tucked behind some books. Then I invited Julie over. I told her I wanted to talk. Todd sat there too, half listening, playing dumb. I told her I missed a few other items. Maybe we could work something out. That's all it took. She smiled and said, "Look, Claire, I was doing you a favor. That stuff had dust on it. You never wore it. I mean, who keeps dead people's rings lying around?" Todd chuckled. Yeah, and we needed the cash at the time. You didn't even notice half of it was gone. I kept smiling. I offered her tea. Then later, after she left, I played the audio for Shane. "Game on," he said. He uploaded the file to a private link and sent it to an attorney friend of his in town. That friend connected me with a woman named Gwen who worked for a small community blog in Roanoke. Gwen asked for an interview. I told her everything. With documents, audio, pictures, messages. The story ran a week later. Roanoke woman's jewelry sold without consent. Family betrayal uncovered. I didn't use last names. But Julie and Todd knew. Everyone who knew us knew. Todd's parents called me the next morning, furious. "You embarrassed our family." "No," I said. "Your family embarrassed itself." Todd begged me to take it down. I didn't. Instead, I told him to move out. He refused at first. Then Haley, our daughter, overheard us fighting one night. She looked up at Todd and said, "Did you really take Mommy's things?" He didn't answer. She didn't hug him goodbye the next morning. That broke him more than anything. But I wasn't done yet. Todd didn't leave right away. After the article, things got tense. His name wasn't in the piece, but enough people in town pieced it together. His old boss reached out with a "hope you're doing okay," which Todd took as a slap in the face. Word spread fast in a place like Roanoke. At first, he tried to act like nothing happened, but people noticed. At church, folks nodded politely and walked on. At the store, a woman told him straight to his face, "You ought to be ashamed." He blamed me for all of it. "You blew this up," he said one night. "You didn't have to go public. You helped your sister rob me." I answered, "You deserve what you got." A week after the story came out, I filed for a legal separation. I wanted to make it clear we were no longer a team. Todd didn't contest it, but he sulked around the house like a ghost. Then one morning, I got a knock on the door. It was a man in a suit, tall, mid-40s. He introduced himself as Marcus Bell. Said he was a small-time private buyer who collected estate jewelry and antique rings. My stomach turned. "I think we need to talk about your sister-in-law," he said. I let him in, offered him coffee. He pulled out a small notebook, worn from years of use. Inside were photos, items he'd bought off Julie. But they weren't just mine. "She's been selling from multiple homes," he said. "House-sitting jobs, friends' places, even babysitting gigs. She's a thief, Ms. Wallace. A chronic one. He showed me one ring he bought 6 months ago. He'd since returned it to its rightful owner after seeing a Facebook post, just like he'd found mine. I didn't know it was stolen until after, he said. But I've been keeping notes. He had over 15 documented items traced back to Julie. Then he handed me a small plastic bag. Inside was a necklace. I felt my throat close. It was my daughter's baby charm, the one with her birthstone that I thought I'd misplaced 2 years ago when we moved. I cried right there at the table. She said it was hers, Marcus said quietly, but it had initials on the back. I figured something wasn't right. I thanked him. He asked if I wanted to help build a case against her. At that point, I didn't know. I just felt numb. But then 2 days later, the final straw landed. Haley came home from school crying. When I finally got her calm enough to talk, she said, "A boy at school said his mom read that Daddy and Aunt Julie steal from people. He called me jewelry thief's kid." I held her for a long time, told her none of it was her fault. That night, I gave Todd one more chance. "You need to leave. For her sake. Before this gets worse." He looked at me with red eyes and muttered, "I don't have anywhere to go." Then call Julie. She owes you. He moved out the next day. But it wasn't over. 3 days later, I got a letter from the Roanoke County Sheriff's Office. Julie had filed a small claims lawsuit against me. She said I stole her car and sold it without permission. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I called Gwen, the blog editor, and told her what happened. She asked if I wanted to update the story. "No," I said. "Not yet." I showed up to court with my folder. I brought Shane as a witness. I had audio. I had proof. But still I was nervous. Julie showed up in full drama. Big sunglasses, fake tears, claimed she was the victim, said I was unhinged and jealous. Even said I'd planted jewelry in her car to frame her. The judge wasn't buying it, especially when my lawyer handed over the title showing Todd's name on the car, and the Facebook messages, and the audio file of her laughing about selling my things. The judge dismissed the case in 10 minutes. But that wasn't the end of court that day, because Marcus, my quiet visitor from earlier, filed a separate report. He had collected enough statements from people Julie had stolen from. He gave it all to the police, and they were investigating. Julie was about to be in real trouble, the kind you can't sweep under a rug. Todd called me that night, said he was sorry things went too far, asked if I could help talk to the police. Maybe tell them Julie was just misunderstood. I hung up on him. The next day, he showed up uninvited. I didn't let him in. "You're punishing everyone," he shouted through the door. "Even the kids." "No," I said through the glass. "You did that. Not me." After that, he stopped calling. Julie's world started to crumble. Her ex-husband filed for full custody of their 2 boys. Said her behavior proved she was unstable. The story had gotten out and people were talking. Parents stopped letting her babysit. Her landlord raised the rent. Her boss at the dental clinic let her go. She texted me once, "You happy now?" I didn't reply. I was still deciding, because I had one more move left, and it was going to be the one they never saw coming. The last move wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about truth. I had spent over a year cleaning up after the damage Todd and Julie left behind. I'd filed for full divorce. The girls and I were living with more peace, but less money. I had to pick up more hours with my medical coding job, and I started doing bookkeeping for a local real estate office on weekends. It was hard. Haley had started seeing a counselor. She developed panic attacks at school. Nightmares. She didn't understand why her dad left or why kids whisper behind her back. I did everything I could to protect her, but kids are cruel, and memories stick. Megan, my oldest, was 17. She stopped speaking to her dad entirely. One night, she came home with a cracked phone screen and told me some girl at school said her mom used to be best friends with Julie T. and called me a liar. Said Julie told everyone I made up the whole thing for sympathy. That's when I realized I had to speak out. Not in defense of myself, but for my daughters. They deserve the whole truth out in the open, not just in legal paperwork. So I called Gwen again. This time, I agreed to sit down for a full video interview. Face on camera, voice steady. She asked questions like, how did it feel when you realized your husband was part of it? Why didn't you go to the police first? Did you ever forgive him? I told her the truth. It felt like dying slowly. I didn't go to the police first because I was ashamed. And no, I didn't forgive him. The video went up 2 weeks later on the Roanoke Voices blog. It didn't go viral nationwide or anything. But in our town, everyone saw it. Teachers, neighbors, old friends who hadn't called me in years. I even got a letter in the mail from my old high school English teacher. Julie and Todd went quiet for a while after that. I figured they were licking their wounds. Then, one night, I got a phone call from a number I didn't know. It was Todd's mother. She was crying. I just wanted you to know. Todd checked himself into a facility, she said. He's been drinking. Says he hasn't slept in weeks. Keeps saying he lost his girls. He's not well, Claire. I sat in silence. Part of me wanted to feel pity, but all I could think was, he had chances to stop all of this. He chose not to. I told her. I hope he gets help, but he can't come back here. Julie's turn came next. The police built a solid case off Marcus's notes, and the items recovered. Turns out, some of the jewelry she sold belonged to an elderly woman who had passed away months before. Her family had filed a complaint, and when the ring showed up on Marketplace again, they contacted the authorities. Julie was arrested for theft and possession of stolen property. Multiple counts. Her mugshot was on the local news. Her boys were sent to live with their dad full-time. She didn't show up to court for her custody hearing. I heard through someone she was claiming mental distress. The part of me that used to care wanted to believe she felt remorse. But then I found a message she posted in a closed Facebook group claiming she was being targeted by bitter in-laws, and that people blow things out of proportion for attention. So no, she wasn't sorry. She was just spiraling. She lost her job, her home, her reputation. Todd never showed up to the final divorce hearing. His lawyer submitted everything. It was approved in 5 minutes. I kept the house, the car in full custody. He got visitation rights supervised. He tried once. Came to supervised center to see Haley. She wouldn't go in the room. She clung to me in the car and said, he doesn't feel like my dad anymore. I didn't push her. I don't know if she'll ever forgive him. I don't know if I ever fully will either. It's been 11 months since everything came crashing down. I've started to rebuild. We moved into a small rental home in a quieter part of town. It's not fancy, but it's ours. The girls have their own rooms. We eat dinner together. We laugh again. Slowly, the house feels like home. Sometimes I still open my jewelry box and run my fingers over Grandma Lillian's ruby ring. It's scratched, faded, but it's real. Just like everything we went through. I didn't scream. I didn't break down. I just did the work. Quiet revenge is the kind that sticks. And now, when people in Roanoke talk about the woman whose family stole from her, they don't whisper anymore. They say, she never raised her voice. She just raised the truth. And that was enough.